How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews, back with a little bit of mystery beer. Christmas wrapped mystery beer. Mystery beer cheer. Mystery beer's here. I can rhyme. I feel like Shooter McGavin. Anyway. Okay. So much for me hoping this was going to be a tiny little beer. This comes courtesy of my boy Steven. He sent off a package just before Christmas. This is actually 2 days after Christmas. And what do we have here? First, we have awesome wrapping. Christmas paper. Always the festive of seasons. And as far as the beer goes, that's dark. I mean, she looks like a stout. You're talking about a 12-ounce can with a stout in it. So what are we dealing with here? Who knows? I thought it was going to be a macro beer, actually, because it has a silver top to it. So that may be a giveaway from some of you guys. Not silver. Gold. Because that's gold. You don't see that a ton. You know, with kind of micro beer, craft beer. So I was kind of assuming it might be kind of like him trying to trip me up, some kind of macro-based beer. But as far as this beer goes, just looks all the parts of a stout. Could be a barley wine, could be a Belgian, could be a couple different things. But as far as that looks to me from a distance, you have that rich kind of malted malt ball or head, nice thick black motor oil body to it. Let's see if we can get a nose. Somebody's milk stout? I don't think it's bourbon barrel aged, but I could be confusing because there is a red cherry note in there. There's a red cherry note and there's a soft vanilla character. I'm assuming that's a milk stout, but that could definitely be a very well hidden booziness in a barrel combination. So you're getting that kind of that red fruit from the bourbon, that little bit of vanilla from the barrel. Nice, rich, sweet malts here. Nothing overtly bittering, even though I think it's going to have a decent amount of bitterness. In the actual taste itself, the beer comes off quite sweet. A little chocolatey, syrupy goodness. Let's dive in. Cheers. Okay. Man, I'm going to fight myself back and forth on this one. It's got that big metallic astringency I get for some beers. More often than not, when I get that, I'm dealing with a relatively lower-ish ABV beer. So you're talking about 8% or below. But there's something about this beer that makes me think it's a little bit bigger. There is a big bittering component to it too. So there's definitely a hop, roasted malt kind of combination floating around there. I'm getting what I perceive as a soft little barrel char. Every instinct of my being wants me to say this isn't barrel because I'm not getting a big booze component on it. But there's that smoky charriness. Makes me want to go that direction. Now it could be a kind of a smoked malt, a peat malt, something like that. But I really want to call this somebody's barrel aged, bourbon barrel aged, spirit barrel aged. No, bourbon barrel aged Russian Imperial Stout. But it doesn't. I think it's like 8%. Not that you can't do a stout at 8%, but with how bittering it's coming off. Let's see how much longer I can hoe and hum before I'm really, really wrong. This pop in the back of your throat. It has a little bit of heat going, but it's spirit heat. It's not malted beverage heat. So I'm going to call this a lower-ish ABV. Like 8 to 9. Let's go 8.9% for fun. 8.9%, somebody's Russian Imperial Stout, bourbon barrel aged. Done. Yeah, nix that whole idea of a milk stout and kind of go with something along those lines. Just because that bittering is just really kind of making me want to lean in that Russian Imperial Stout. Now, it could be a coffee component that's leaning it down that path, but it's the way that bittering comes off. Kind of makes me want to think it's Russian Imperial Stout. As far as those that want to know, I didn't see this was canned on October 29th. And what do we have going on here? Okay. This is not a barrel-aged stout, because I suck at what I do. This is Lawson's Feastin' Maple. I was confusing that with that little bit of let's read what's on here. We got 10.1, so I was even below that. I was a full point and change off. Imperial Stout is brewed with loads of roasted and black malts and hefty dose of Vermont maple syrup. The result is a rich, complex beer, perfect for sipping and pairing with chocolate and dessert. So here's my explanation of why I suck. Imperial Stout was easy. That was the easy portion of the show. It drank a little bit lower ABV than I anticipated. But, you know, it was 8.9. This is 10.1. Let's call it, 1.3, 1.2. Math is hard. And that's kind of that maple syrup really kind of threw me for a loop, because now, in the light of day, knowing what the beer is, it's kind of like, okay, that's that kind of sweetened cherry thing that I kind of leaned on, that kind of made me think about a barrel. The roasted malts, and they talk about a lot of black malts, roasted malts, that's your barrel at play there. But it's that added portion of that maple is what kind of led me down that path of thinking maybe it's spirit barreled, but it's not. So, poopy palate me. What are you going to do? I've been fucking lacking on some of these mystery beers as of late. Kind of pissing me off, to be honest with you. Yeah, it just doesn't really get super mapley for me. It's more just a sweetened component to it. It's more like a reduced spirit component to it. Those roasted malts are crazy, the amount of roasted malts you get in there. They're so charred and so black. That's where kind of my brain went down the path of kind of a barrel beer. But it's tasty nonetheless. I should have said that beforehand. I like it quite a bit. The fact that it's 10%, non-barrel aged is pretty impressive, since I'm calling it out as such. And it's just a, I don't know if you call it a core 4 style, obviously, because it has the maple addition, but the combination of how bold and rich those roasted malts are, in combination with the way that maple shows itself, is a really cool combination that elicits a lot of bourbon barrel aged character without that kind of overt super booziness. Now, I did talk about like this little hot thing on the back end. That could just be just that hotness, I guess, of the beer itself. That's, again, I thought it wouldn't be that. I thought it was going to be coming from the spirit. So this is another little bit and piece I got wrong. So there you go. Another mystery beer in the books. Let's talk about it. Is this one of the better non-barrel aged imperial stouts I've had as of late? It's definitely tasty stuff. Something I would not mind having a can of every now and then. I mean, this is the perfect format for this. 12 ounces. Don't have to suffer through a 500 milliliter or a 750 or something like that. This is perfect for this beer format. So it'd be nice to have those kind of floating around. Bagging availability, I don't know how far and wide this reaches. We do see some Lawson stuff. I don't know if we see Faced and Maple down by me, but I think we do, so it can be had. Their price points are usually pretty decent with their beers, Lawson's, and leave you with, if you like what we like this, if you like big, huge imperial stouts, verging on your Russian imperial stouts, and you want a little bit of kind of soft bourbon character, but you don't want that spirit character, that's what you're going to get here, because that's what the maple does for me, and I'm assuming it'll do that for you too. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I really appreciate it, Steve, for sending it off. If you guys dig the mystery beers, reach out to me, massivebeers@gmail.com. Could always use some mystery beers, even though I have a decent backlog of them coming up. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff, Massive Beers. I do a lot of stuff beyond just the videos. You can go check that out. If you want to hear me doing the podcasting stuff, where we talk to a bunch of different people. We might have talked to Sean at one point, actually. I forget. It's quite a while ago. You can go check that out at Beer Massive. Type that into Google. And hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully enjoying a little Faced and Maple right now. Hope we'll see you next time. Cheers.